in the world blind. Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, some losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
Yeah. There's no mercy in this world, just hunger-thirsty persons in different versions. Each new update, that shit worsens. Why? Pull back the curtain and you'll see the different vermin. We all have different burdens that all seem to cause disturbance. Yo, so do me a favor, don't treat me like a neighbor. Don't need the different flavors of your problems just to savor. I've got my own issues, I need a comb to get through. Don't need to groan with you, just go get your own tissue.
I feel like I'm losing.
And what is going on, everybody? So welcome to the 2023 MLB free agency preview. Free agency is about to be upon us, coming on Thursday, which I will be covering that when the free agent market opens. So I'm going to have a couple of people with me live on the stream, but let's get to some comments. What is good, Eric? Shout out to everybody that's coming into the chat. So kind of give a bit of a rundown. So what we're going to be talking about is, the notable opt-outs, free agents, especially with this upcoming free agency class for 2023, and kind of give our predictions to see where some of these players will go, and then I'll give you a rundown of what the MLB is going to do, especially with the offseason now upon us. But kind of go over the calendar a little bit from MLB. So today, obviously, there's going to be players that are eligible that can file for free agency, which we have seen. I've seen, which I'll talk about those in just a second. From the 7th to the 10th, obviously you got the GM meetings. How that goes, kind of figure out where and all that. Then Thursday, November 10th, I will be live again. This time covering the potential moves that these 30 ball clubs, and especially with the options and qualifying hours, should be or do, and all that good stuff. But so far, like I said, free agency is going to be interesting, especially with this 2023 class. Looking back on it so far, I also put the some of the notable opt-outs I written down was Carlos Rodon, Xander Bogaerts, Carlos Correa, Nelson Cruz. It was an interesting one. Zach Davies from the Diamondbacks, Jacob deGrom, who actually opted out of his contract from the Mets, but I think he might be looking for a bigger deal. but we've seen other teams kind of pushing for him. One of those teams in particular is the Texas Rangers, since they're having a lot of money to spend this all season. Well, like I said, we'll see what happens. Because obviously right now this is just a preview. Like I said, because teams cannot sign, or free agents cannot sign with new teams until Thursday, November 10th, which I'll be live for that as well. Jackson Profar also opted out with Robert Suarez too. So we got 2 Padres already opted out of the contracts. And Taijuan Walker, I know is going to be a very interesting one to really discuss. Because for me, Taijuan Walker, though, when healthy, he's a very solid pitcher. It could be I wouldn't say 4 to 5 guy in a rotation, but on a really good rotation, could be a 3, be a solid 3, maybe a solid 4, depending on what you're going to get out of Taijuan Walker. But yeah, it's very interesting to kind of just see what this free agency class is going to hold. And like another notable players that actually have actually elected for free agency. I did talk about Carlos Rodon. You also had Anthony Rizzo, Jose Abreu, Corey Kluber, Mike Zunino, Josh Bell, Brandon Drury, Sean Manaea, Brandon Nimmo, Mitch Haniger, Adam Frazier, Jay Turner, Tyler Anderson, Clayton Kershaw, and Joey Gallo are some of the notable players that have elected for free agency. And we've seen teams pick up options for other players. I mean, we saw the Mets picked up the option for Daniel Vogelbach. The Phillies picked up Noel's option. Yeah, but like I said, baseball, even in the off season, it's very unpredictable. We'll see what happens. But yeah, man, But yes, I should have my buddy Coach Dante coming up in just about a minute or two. And like I said, free agency though, for some teams, you don't want to really try to get your hopes up. Looking at how everything has played out so far, but yeah, I mean, with that, I mean, I'm seeing some predictions right now. Like I said, I mean, the 2023 free agency class, like I said, and I had talked about this before with my team with the Philadelphia Phillies, and who should we go after? Like I said, we did pick up Noah's club option, so he'll be around for another year. We release guys that been on one, so pretty much already elected free agency. Kyle Gibson, Noah Syndergaard. Honestly, I don't know what the Pirates are going to do. But what up, Tina? What up? Now, can I talk about the Pirates? So I don't think they even have money to spend at this point, because they're one of the lower payroll teams in baseball, along with Baltimore and Oakland and all that. But I mean, it's right now though. I mean, but I'm surprised that the Pirates even have O'Neal Cruz, because a team like that, who's been completely abysmal, should not have like a guy like that in their organization. I mean, your guy got Anthony Solometo, but you better make sure your team gets it right, because if not, I feel like the Pirates are going to set themselves back for, I would say, for about a couple of years, maybe forever. I don't know, because for me, I just don't know about with the Pirates, because it's just like the Pirates have been so bad. So I mean, I didn't hear no. Did the Minnesota pick up his option? Because I didn't see that. Hang on, because I didn't hear nothing about Sonny Gray or the Twins pick up his option. But if that's the case, then. But yeah, like I said, I mean, it's been. Sonny. Let's see. I'm looking right now. Okay. This was about yesterday. Yeah, the only time where they were good was back in 2013. I remember that. I mean, you still had prime Andrew McCutcheon. You still had Russell Martin. God, it's just like it's been tough. Pirates fans, man, y'all have it rough more than the Baltimore. I mean, the Baltimore yes, not one of the greatest, but I think they have an opportunity to at least be somewhat good in the AL East, even though it's pretty stacked with the three teams, the Yankees, Blue Jays, at the same time. But it's just this. So 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 according to Mike Fison, the free agency market opens up at 5 o'clock. I will be live for that. I'm gonna have a couple people on with me, because it's gonna get crazy. Like I said, and for those who are just coming in, well, not just Painter, we also have Mick Abel coming. We just promoted Griff McGarry at the same time to AAA. Gray, I would not mind taking a chance on, but with some of these pitchers now, like that, I don't know. Cause I feel I don't actually. Let me check Fangraphs. I want to check Sonny Gray's numbers, because if they did, because if he had like somewhat decent numbers, God, if I can actually spell it right, but yeah, I mean, Sonny Gray, I wouldn't mind having to be a bridge guy. Knowing that we just picked up Nola's option, I think we definitely are going to give Nola another contract. That's for sure. Because I feel like Nola, you know what, say what you want about him. Yes, I mean, he has had his bad moments, but he actually really finished the season strong, regular season wise. I mean, it's just, I think like I said, we have some with the Phillies. I wouldn't say we don't like a full retool, I would say, but I do think we can improve in some areas, which I have talked about, with my buddy Coach Dante, and kind of see where this team is at. I mean, because we did release a lot of guys on the 1-year contracts. Corey Knable, wrong. That was the one that. Brand Hand, I think his time was up anyways. So that's that. All right, not a bad. Oh, actually, not a bad season for Sonny Gray, though. So it'd be free agent 2024, though. Okay. You know what? That's another. Actually, I gotta write that down, because I think that's another guy I think the Phillies should. That's a really. Well, I think he is going to get his UCL repaired, so I think he's going to be in time to play right field. And plus, I had talked about we're having another Japanese power hitter, in Matasaka Yoshida, wanting to get posted and come to Philadelphia. So we have players that want to come in, because I mean, like I said, Castellanos has not really done much to show. Well, for those who know me, have my thoughts is on Nick Castellanos at that point. But yeah, it's been, like I said, I mean, free agency is going to be interesting. And I did mention, Bogarts. We know why he is opting out, because let's be real. I think overall, though, I think a guy like Bogarts deserves a lot better than what Boston, because let's be real, Boston is absolutely hot garbage. Now Zach, I completely forgot Zach Davis is still in the league. Carlos Rodon, I think he really can get a good deal elsewhere. Because the Giants for me, it's like a big question mark, I would say. I mean, the only one sign that we saw to start off was, I guess you could say, an extension to Edwin Diaz. What up, AJ's in the chat? So a shout out to AJ coming through with the Tampa Bay Rays. So let's see what the Rays are going to be doing. Because, I mean, you already have Mike Zunino already elected for agency. I think the Rays should at least bring him back. Oh, absolutely. Well, Schwarber, for me, I think Schwarber's more of a DH. And I think we're going to have Schwarber back to DH while we have, because I think we might see him in left field. Like I said, the other contact here I obviously wouldn't be too upset with. That's Andrew Benintendi, or hell, give me fucking Michael Conforto. I mean, the fact they taking a chance on Michael Conforto, I mean, the guy's still out there, can still, may not be a top hitter, but he has put up some decent numbers to be that kind of guy, and really good defensively. So, I mean, what's the harm that can do? Oh, yeah, I'm excited for college basketball. But, yeah, I mean, But yeah, I mean, there's some other outfield options that I have talked about. Now, like I said, Andrew Benintendi I had written down because for contact purposes. Plus, he's also on base machine, which we can use. Jock Peterson too can as well on the cheaper option as well. Definitely Michael Conforto. Would not hard to take a chance on that. At the same time, but it's just looking at how what this team is all about. These teams. Well, I like Brandon Nimmo, but the problem is I think he's going to get I think Nimmo is going to get the bag from the Mets. Knowing how the Mets are, they can't let a guy like Brandon Nimmo go. But Brandon Nimmo, I would not mind because I think, despite he's a center fielder, I don't think he really be probably said not a bad option to play left. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what the Mets are going to do. But I appreciate that, AJ. Like, we know that we've seen Nelson Cruz got opt out of his contract. Jerison Prover, Suarez, Taijuan Walker. I have talked about Taijuan Walker a little bit, but I'll kind of go more with that. Taijuan Walker, though, is one of those guys that's like, you don't know what you're going to get. No, he has some starts where he's good, and then he has some starts when he's bad. He's just one of those guys that's just very inconsistent, has a bit of an injury history, which for me, I don't see that race. It's a bit of a red flag for me if I would be in the front office, but we've seen at times when he's healthy, like he's just completely disgusting. And it's going to be very interesting of what, like I said, with teams, I mean, teams are these free agents who are elected free agents or have opted out. They can be talking to some potential suitors, but they can't officially sign. I don't know. I've never heard about that, but that's a very good question, though. That is a very good question. But like I said, I feel like I think Dave's got somehow a crazy plan in place, but I don't know. It's possible. I wouldn't be too mad about that. And it's and the fact that it's just it's gonna be, like I said, I can see it just to kind of and the way that I see it is we do want to see having McGarry in the bullpen just to start out, kind of get his basically get his feet wet, I would say, because that's the way I would want to do it. Because I mean, because McGarry, Abel, and Painter are our top three pitching prospects, and Dave Dombrowski has high hopes for these guys because they're also part of that future. Because I mean, we still have Wheeler, I think, for the next 2 years. Who knows how long with Nola. Ranger, Ranger, though, I think he's a solid back end of the bullpen, or not say bullpen, but the rotation, but it could also use to be a bullpen piece. That utility pitcher extraordinaire. It's, oh boy, and it's going to be, it's just, I don't know, but like I said, I mean, it's, and speaking of which, so what up, Jeff? What up? So, I mean, hey, Jeff, if you ever want to pop in, you're more than welcome to. If you want to kind of talk some MLB free agency, if you want to. So, you're more than welcome to pop up in because, I mean, we'll say, I'm excited. I mean, Painter, though, man, that kid, I mean, for a guy the fact that even though as a high score, the fact that this kid flew up through the minors is impressive. And I think the fact that we've seen what kind of potential that this kid has, who's to say? You know what I mean? Same with Abel. Abel's another guy I'm excited to see what these young guys are coming in. You know what I mean? It's been, yeah, I can agree. I can get behind that 100%. That's for sure. But there's also, I mean, I've seen some like others. Like I said, like earlier I've seen like, Chris Martin at electric free. There's a lot. I mean, Dodgers. Oof. I mean, there's a lot of players that have electric free agency. I feel like now, like I said, it's going to be very interesting where some of these guys are going to wind up. It's just, there's certain guys, like I think you don't want to underpay. You don't want to really, there's some certain guys you just don't want to underpay or overpay. knowing that. Yeah, that is absolutely true. I remember that. Like it's like because Cole Hamels was one of those guys. So, like you said, man, I think Patriot could be what we've been looking for. I mean, I think because you really think about it, we got really Wheeler and Nola to stop the part of the top two in the rotation, but if we can at least have say if Painter and Abel look good, that's 3 and 4 right there of homegrown money right there. And speaking of Jeff coming in, what up, my guy?
Hey, what's going on, Rob? How you doing this Monday?
Not too bad, not too bad. Just kind of talking some previews the free agency market before Thursday.
How's that going so far? A lot of Phillies talk about who you guys might be looking at trying to re-sign or bring in this offseason.
I mean, we did pick up Nola's option, so I think we might be giving him a contract extension. And I saw that Edwin Diaz got the bag, and rightfully so. Dude's fucking disgusting.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Brandon, it's crazy that Brandon Nimmo's going to be a free agent, but I don't see him leaving New York anytime soon. There's no way. But then again, you know how baseball is; it's unpredictable and money talks. So I mean, we'll see what happens. Because the other opt-outs I saw that I wrote down was Rodon, Bogarts, Correa, Cruz, Davies, DeGrom. If I'd be stupid if the Mets would let that man walk. I don't see that happening. And Taijuan Walker, though, for me, I mean, I think he's good, though, but it's 50-50 for me because you don't know what you're going to get out of Walker. Not to mention with the injury history. But I mean,
Bassett too.
That's right. I forgot about Bassett, elected free agency.
And Carrasco might be a free agent too if he doesn't pick up his option. So the Mets might have 4 fifths of their rotation that could be free agents.
Yeah, but I would say I think Bassett will be back with the Mets. I
don't know. After the comments he made after the Mets got eliminated by the Padres, I'm a little bit iffy that Bassett will come back. I think they might let him walk because Bassett didn't perform very well towards down the stretch, and he just didn't seem. He seemed like he was a little spooked by New York. So I'm actually very 50-50 if Chris Bassett will in fact return. And in terms of what you said about DeGrom, I don't know how much the Mets are going to be willing to offer a pitcher who, as good as DeGrom is, he still is a guy that is 34, going to be 35. And I don't know if the Mets are going to be willing to offer this guy like 50, 60 million for like 2 or 3 years to bring him back.
And like you said, and plus DeGrom has an injury history too. So, I mean,
exactly.
You don't want to really overpay. But it's just, man, the Mets are going to be, good Lord, that's going to be a whole different looking Mets in that rotation because the Mets not be dumb enough to let DeGrom walk. I mean, I'll give him. Now the crowd, like you said,
does DeGrom want to come back though? You got to think about that. Does DeGrom want to be a Met? You don't know. There's been rumors of him wanting to go to Atlanta to be his hometown.
I've seen and I know this may not seem realistic, but I've seen a team like the Texas Rangers are pushing for DeGrom because Texas Rangers are willing to spend a shit ton of money. That's what I've understood.
Absolutely, they're looking to try to go out there and try to make some type of splash because of how poor they've been the past couple of years. Last year, I mean, they picked up Simeon and who's the other guy they picked up?
Corey Seager.
Seager too. So they're a little bit short in the pitching rotation right now, and I'm sure they want to go out there and, test out the market and try to bring in a guy like a DeGrom or maybe even one of those Mets pitchers. But the Diaz thing was not – I'm not surprised they prioritized trying to bring back Diaz first at the season he had, and I'm not really surprised he got the richest contract in Major League Baseball history for a relief pitcher. In terms of Nimmo, I really don't know what Nimmo's market is right now. I know the Rockies are going hot and heavy.
I heard the Rockies are pushing for him.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many other teams that are pushing for Nimmo because I feel like Nimmo, I think you get on a very cheap option if you really think about it.
Boris is his agent though, and Boris is going to push for a big.
That is right. That's right. That's how Scott Boris says. I mean, we have Stott. I think it has under him, Harper for sure. Because I mean, I even talked about it. Because we might let Segura walk. Because I mean, Segura's about to be about 33 next season, and I'm thinking to myself because we're looking to move Stott to second and try to go after a shortstop like a Trey Turner. Xander Bogaerts is probably one of the main two. But
Bogaerts will be a good addition for you guys. And Max just put it in the chat.
Yeah, that's why.
130 for Nimmo.
That's,
Would you be willing to pay that for Nimmo though? Nimmo's a nice player, but is he worth that much?
I don't think that he's worth that much. I mean,
No.
he had a good year, but I don't see that happening. That's the crazy part, though. And speaking of it, here's my other half, my buddy Tyler.
What's up?
How you doing, Tyler?
And
what's
Tyler,
up? How's it going?
That is Jeffrey, local Mets fan. We just talked about the two because right now this is kind of like a preview of what's going to come because free agency is going to get fucking crazy. It's going to get nuts.
Oh my god!
Woo!
So, what are your thoughts on? Yeah. So, Rob, what are your thoughts on Noah Syndergaard and Gibson being gone now?
Syndergaard, though, I mean, I wanted to keep him for another year, but I can see why we got rid of him. Gibson, Tyler, you know me better than anybody of how I feel.
Gibson, as soon as Gibson went, all I said was "Bye, Gibson. Bye. Go be inconsistent somewhere else."
But it's just, and I even talked to Jeffy too, and I even wrote down the notable opt-outs. I mean, Carlos Rodon. Well, Bogarts, we knew he was going to opt out because the Boston Red Sox are absolute shit at the moment.
Yeah, he wasn't going to come back when we signed to that team.
Carlos Correa.
Story there too.
And yes, I mean, Story has not lived up to what that contract.
Story completely regressed as soon as he went to Boston. Completely.
Yeah, I mean,
they're homegrown guys. They're not keeping their homegrown players over there in Boston, which they should. If I were them, I'd re-sign Bogarts and I would try to re-sign Devers. Those are the guys that have been there for a long time and have helped you win a championship. Bring those guys back instead of going out there and getting these other players that might have performed well in other markets. And we all know how many times have we seen players come from Colorado where they're playing in that, dense Denver area. They play well in that Coors Field Park. And then what do? They go to another baseball team and they don't perform. It happens all the time. And Story looks like another player that's done that.
I mean, the only one I feel like has success outside of that was Nolan Arenado. I mean,
I was about to say that. I was about to say the only
there's very few exceptions to that.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's like one exception, but the rest of them have not panned out.
I mean, shit. You looked at the Rockies; they overpaid for Chris Bryant, and Chris Bryant did nothing. Yeah, and that just a huge waste of money.
The problem wasn't that he didn't do anything. The problem was as soon as he signed, he got hurt.
Like, we knew that Wilson Contreras, when it comes to the catching positions, pretty much leads that. It's pretty much the front option.
Yeah.
I see, like, I don't know. Like, for me, there's one or two teams I could think that could use a catcher. I think, technically three, yes. The Mets, maybe the Giants, because Joey Bart just doesn't seem like he's the guy to fill. Because remember, when you fill in for Buster Posey, that's a large set of shoes to fill.
Yeah, it's true.
Or I have a feeling the Cubs are going to find a way to pay him. Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see, because I mean, you don't know exactly how much you're going to get out of with Contreras and Swanson, though. And speaking of Tennessee Swanson, when it comes to the shortstops, I'm very surprised that the Braves have not done anything to offer Swanson a contract extension. That is surprising to me. For a guy they
offered all these other guys, though. They've offered such large contracts to every single positional player on their team, including the guy they just signed, the center fielder they brought up. They signed him to a huge deal too.
Oh God. Oh crap. What is his name? Stop on grip. Michael Harris. I think Michael Harris is second. I think. And what it's it looks like when you look at the contracts, man, Braves really underpaid for all of them. Noah Strider, Acuna, all the Albies, Michael Harris the second. I don't know, man. It's just like gotta see what. And another good buddy of mine, Coach Dante's in the building. Hopefully, Adam.
Coach, long time no see, bro. How you doing, Dante?
I got my ski mask on, y'all. Y'all know why? Because the Astros hunting for all the smoke next year. They still going to beat out.
There it is.
Now. But how you doing, Mr. Jeff? I'm feeling good. I'm watching.
It's our week this week, Dante. Us and you this week at New York, MetLife Stadium, Texans and Giants. So I'm excited for that.
Yep. I wish the Texans would like the Astros. I wish the Texans would like them. Build something good. But that's going to come a couple of years. But I'm over here, having fun. watching my Astros parade, man. Like I say, man, it was just an honor to be a champion, a 2-time champion.
Congratulations to you guys.
Like I say now, 2017 series, they said we can't win a legit title. Now we got a legit title. So hey.
And we owned up to it on our show last night that they didn't cheat playing us.
Yep.
They played us tough.
They can't say we're not great no more. They can't say we're not great. They can't say we're not great.
Can't see that.
Team. You're the model organization of baseball right now. What you guys have done and the amount of players that you lost over the past couple of years, and you still were able to restock and have young players come from your farm system and play as well as they did. You guys are the model organization right now, and people have to come to grips with that. They're going to say the Dodgers, but nope, it's the Astros with how good you guys have been consistent.
I mean, we entirely admit it too.
Appreciate it, Jeff.
Yeah,
get that dude up on my get him up on my screen. Get Jason Castro up on my screen. He don't deserve a World Series. Castro, Castro don't deserve a damn World Series. For how you did this year.
That would have been us with Castellanos. Get Castellanos on first screen.
Don't even get me started. And Jeff, to let you know, Brandon Nimmo's market value is almost is $21.2 million.
Okay,
when it comes to. Surprisingly, he had a $7 million salary, which is surprising for a guy. He's only 29, though. I mean, wouldn't hurt to get at least two.
Brandon Nimmo, not a bad batter, man. Not a bad leadoff guy. He's a very solid leadoff guy, man. He's a solid leadoff. His defense has
improved too. His defense was a lot better than it has been previously when he had to play center field when Marte got banged up too. I like Nimmo a lot. He's been with the Mets for a very long time. Came out of the farm system, but I don't know if I'm willing to see this team go out there and spend up to 120, 130 million.
Yeah, like Matt's brought it up. Like he's looking for that. But I mean, I could give him between 70, 80 at the most. Because I think that's where he's because I don't know, man. Like it's tough to really Nimmo has these tendencies where even though he's your typical contact guy, he can give you like a 200, not say high 280s, like low 300s almost consistent every year. But it's just like 120 and 130. I just don't see that. Like I'm with Jeff. It's like I want to. But if he somehow lives up to the contract, though, who's to say? You know, I mean, it's like I don't know. Like and Dante, since you came in, so I did talk to Jeff and Tara about the opt-outs. We saw that Rodon opted out. We knew Bogarts was going to opt out. Carlos Correa opted out. Nelson Cruz opted out. Same with Zach Davies.
He's leaving the Nationals. He's gone with the
Jacob deGrom opted out. Jerickson Profar opted out. Taijuan Walker and Suarez opted out. And the Twins picked up Sonny Gray's option.
He won't be there. Sonny Gray. Carlos Correa definitely gone. I think Rodon is definitely gone. I don't know about Jacob deGrom. I think the Mets going to try to bring him back. They're going to bring him back. So I don't know about that. You want to fence with that?
Yeah,
I think the Mets.
I don't know if deGrom wants to come back. I really don't know. There was a lot of signs at the end of the season that deGrom might want to move on. I don't know because of Max Scherzer too. They gave big money to him. Are you going to be willing to give another older pitcher with injury issues big money? That's what I wonder if this team is going to be willing to do that. Though I love deGrom, I hope he does stay. I'd like to see a Mets pitcher be able to stay with their one team the entire season after we see Syndergaard and Wheeler play on you guys, which we should have never let Zach Wheeler go years ago. Seeing them pitch on your team in the World Series.
I blame the Wilpons.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Blame them.
Specifically. More on Wheeler.
Wilpons completely messed up that team. Completely messed up.
Because even though I don't have no hard feelings towards the Mets, but I knew the Mets would definitely move on from Syndergaard. That's for sure. Because when I looked at his numbers, especially when he was actually dominant, didn't look like. Like I said, with Tommy John issues. I mean, the Mets had some stars that just fell off a cliff.
Harvey.
Yeah, now you had
Harvey,
Syndergaard. You had. Here's the thing. Now you have Syndergaard can't go past 4 innings in a game. Now he used to go the full 9.
Bullpen arm.
He's overrated.
Now he's a bullpen guy.
He's overrated. I hate to say it. If I were you guys,
I swear to God,
get rid of the bullpen or get rid of him. Go ahead.
We
already released him. He was on the
board. We released him today, along with Kyle Gibson.
I told Key this morning. You know how I knew we had momentum. When we was down 2-1, this is how I knew we got momentum. We knocked Aaron Noah. We beat him twice. I knew we had momentum, and I knew we win the series. Well, I knew we was winning the series because I liked the matchup between Verlander and Syndergaard. I liked that matchup. in Verlander. He didn't pitch awesome. He pitched well enough. And we got that bad dude in Jeremy Pena after we lost Carlos Correa. We got that bad rookie shortstop.
Here's the thing about Verlander. Verlander actually woke up in that last game for Game 6. He woke up because he pitched a lot better than he did that first game.
Yeah, he pitched way better. He pitched a lot better.
A lot better. He didn't pitch okay. He pitched really dang good.
I thought he pitched fine. I didn't think he pitched great. He had 4 walks. But he still, was able to get out of damage when he needed to.
I consider that more so great than just good because he was able to get out of trouble. That first game, he wasn't able to get out of trouble.
Now, Rama Valdez, that's great. He didn't get in no trouble. He was unhittable. Verlander was kind of hittable, and he got out of trouble, but he did enough for us to win the game. He didn't give up no damage in the bats. He held it off long enough for the bats to get started. And once the bats got started, once the Astros bats get started, ain't no where you gonna recover. Just like
we knew when it went from it was 1-0, then it went to 3-1, then it was 4-1. I knew as soon as it hit the 4-1, I'm like, it's over.
Hey, when they hit 3-1. When they hit it the 3-1, when Jordan hit that ball, which I knew it was gone. Soon as he
that
hit
dude
it,
is a beast.
And
yeah.
Don't you know how much power you got to have to hit that ball to center field in the Astros?
Center field nowadays and some ballparks are deep.
To go to that center field wall in
you really have to get
Jordan Alvarez is a beast. I don't know.
I told Dante this too. I bet Dodgers fans are punching. Jeff, I told Dante so Dodgers fans are probably punching the air right now.
Yeah, I know. Why did they let that kid go the way he's playing? He's arguably the best hitter in baseball.
I looked at the trade package. The Astros got Alvarez for Josh Fields.
A pitcher.
Speaking of which, I have another guest backstage, Mr. Mitchell Koski.
Oh no!
What up, Mitch?
Oh, look what he's got in the background. So still got the Commander stuff over there.
But
yo, Dante, how's it going, man? How's it going?
It's been going great. It's been going great since my Astros did win the World Series. But I paid a tribute to the Philadelphia Phillies last night. The stream last night. I feel like they deserve a celebration.
He did show some humility for the teams, both our teams, and I respect Dante for that.
I respect that, Dante, because
like I say, they had a great season. They weren't supposed to beat out, so I showed some love to them for the celebration too. They deserve to be in it. They don't got nothing to hold their heads down about. They weren't supposed to beat out. They weren't supposed to even been in the playoff picture.
I even had them out of the.
I had them getting bounced out of the wild card. How bad they were playing that final stretch of the season. I had them losing the wild card.
I had losing the division series.
Rob, remember when I was talking to you about the odds of them making it to the World Series?
Yeah, me and Mitch just talked about that.
When was it? Was like what? So freaking low.
It was like slim to none.
They got hot. They got hot at the end of the season. The Braves, the Mets, the Dodgers, the Padres, they were all battling for that top spot, and they all got worn down towards the end. The Phillies just trickled their way right through. All those teams were beating each other up. The Phillies just snuck in and played good baseball with all those other 4 teams. They were at the top of the conference. They just knocked themselves off.
And who knew?
The Phillies took advantage of it.
Who knew? Firing their head coach would work. Who knew?
Man, like anytime you lose the locker room like Joe Girardi did, and you have no players that want motivated to play for you, that's on the head coach, and they did the right thing. They didn't want to play for Joe Girardi, and he lost the locker room.
But and it's funny, Yankees fans. I even told this too. They're bringing back Boone for another year.
They're all panicking right now because they're afraid that Aaron Judge is going to walk out the door, and that's the biggest key right now. Is what is Aaron Judge going to do? That might be the Marcus. What is Aaron Judge going to do? Is he going to go stay with the Yankees, or is he potentially going to travel to the West Coast and go to his hometown, San Francisco Giants, or maybe the Dodgers?
I was about to say the Dodgers are huge players for him as well. Man,
yeah, the Dodgers and the Giants are the two huge.
I heard the Mets were also pushing for him as well.
Yeah,
the Giants. The Giants and the Dodgers are like really pushing for Aaron Judge to their organization. But that's the biggest storyline in this whole free agency. Where's Aaron Judge?
Yeah, because Aaron Judge is pretty much the face of the free agency market right now.
Yep.
Because the way that I see it, if say the Mets do want to push him for him, if you don't bring back Brendan Noble, I think you're really upgrading your center field position as it is, because you still can get Judge 3 to 4 good years before he starts breaking down. Because look, I like Marte, but Marte's just not the same person.
Outfielder.
Yeah, he's just not. He's not the same player as he used to be. But the fact that he can still produce like 34, 35 is impressive. But and kind of like Tyler said, with the players that we have released, Gibson declared free agency. So did Robertson, Chris Davinsky. Dante knows him better than anybody.
Swinging World Series champion.
Hans already in free agency. We say with Knebel, Eflin declared free agency, so he declined his option. So we
see. This is what I love about this start for the Phillies, having all these older players declare free agency. They're trying to get younger, it seems like, and I like that. Get a bit younger and then run it back. You know.
I have a football question for Dante real quick. What's going on over there with Brandon Cooks? I mean, there's reports that Brandon Cooks is just very unhappy there. I know it's a baseball stream, but since I got Dante here, I just want to ask him, like, what's going on with Brandon Cooks?
Well, it's his fault too, because he got to look at it. He signed the 2-year deal, so he know what the team. He knew what the team was. He knew what we was about. He knew he was rebuilding. So that's his own doing. He signed the 2-year deal to stay with us. That's his own doing too. So now, like I say, we're gonna move on without Brandon Cooks. I expect us to move on without him after the regular season, but that's his own doing. He knew we was a rebuilding team. He knew we weren't gonna be a good football team. He signed on that dotted line. So now he's frustrated, and he can only blame that on himself because he knew he was gonna be a rebuilding team. He knew we weren't gonna win that much. So most of that is on himself too.
I agree with you 100% on that one. Absolutely 1,000%.
And for those who are just coming in, I have talked about the. There's a lot of names on this free agency. Like I said, Rodon, Rizzo, Jose Abreu. Actually, he needs to get away from the White Sox. The White Sox is a complete mess.
That's shocking. The amount of young talent they got, and they just went boom, right to the ground.
And Dante, I mean, Corey Kluber, Mike Zunino, Josh Bell, Brandon Drury, Brandon Nimmo, Sean Manaea, Mitch Haniger, Adam Frazier, Trey Turner, Tyler Anderson, Clayton Kershaw, and Joey Gallo are the right now so far some of the names that have elected free agency.
All I gotta say is I knew the writing was on the wall for the White Sox once they got Vince Velasquez on their team. That's all I gotta say.
And also, it's the fact that they brought in a guy like no longer there, Tony Rosa. The dude should have stayed retired.
The guy was asleep for half the games in the dang dugout.
And let's be real too. Juan Moncada has been a big disappointment with that team when Red Sox traded for him. And Eloy Jimenez, as talented as he is, that dude's got missed most of the last couple of seasons with injury. So I mean, those guys.
It's the same with
not getting it done.
And also, like Luis Robert, they're wasting away out in Chicago.
Luis Roberts, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, shit. If I'm the White Sox, just get rid of Dylan. I mean, just at that point, just blow it up because you're wasting Dylan Cease had a good year, and you're going to be you're wasting him. Shit, you got laughed at for trading for a washed up James Shields to the Padres or from the Padres for Fernando Tatis Jr., which that's still funny.
Yeah,
I've seen people like some predicting. I'm looking at some predictions right now. This was like 3 hours ago. So Kyle Seltzer on Twitter puts this that the judge is staying with the Yankees. Verlander says one for Detroit. I don't see him. I think Verlander stays at Houston, but I don't see him going back to Detroit. But if he wants to finish his career in Detroit,
I don't see him going back to Detroit. Detroit is just such a mess right now.
I mean, you got the Padres.
His best bet will be staying with Houston.
Oh yeah,
but it's all his best. He can stay with Houston. I wouldn't mind him bring him back, but I wouldn't be surprised if he leave because if he leave, better believe we got a young stud in Hunter Brown who's really good, who pitched great against the Yankees in the series. So we got a young stud that can pick up with Brahma Valdez and with Christian Javier and Luis Garcia. So if he does leave, we got a young stud up and coming. So I wouldn't be surprised if he leave, but if he stays, hey, all the better.
Yeah, I really don't see him going back to Detroit though. How messy that situation is.
I agree, and he's already won too. So I mean, is he gonna just be like, you know what? I got my championships. Do I want to maybe just,
retire as a Tiger?
Yeah, maybe he wants to retire as a Tiger. You never know. But I think if he wants to continue to, if he thinks he still can pitch at a high level,
Yep.
Stay over there in Houston for at least another year or two, and then go out on top. See if Houston can win maybe one more championship because they got to.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we can all agree that Verlander is already has built up a Hall of Fame resume as it
that
is.
ain't even close. He's gonna be a first ballot Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah,
it's not even close at this point.
So in other predictions I've seen, DeGrom to the Rangers, that might be a possible.
That would crush my soul. It would hurt my soul.
It's 50-50. Like I don't. Well, like I said, Rangers got some money to spend, but no one see Cohen had one of the richest pockets. Who's to say? But like Jeff said, I mean, why? I mean, look, why get someone like that's a 50-60 million a year to a guy like DeGrom who's about 35, has an injury history. Like that's a high risk, high reward if you're really going to give that to DeGrom.
Yeah.
But like I can definitely see the Rangers because I mean the other teams though, I mean, him and Verlander have the highest market value for starting pitchers. I think over the 40 million mark. Yeah. So I mean,
that Scherzer contract's killing us too. That Scherzer looked like he was breaking down towards the end of the year. And he's what 38, 39 now, making big money.
I think right now, pushing 40.
Yeah,
man, he got bad. I swear to go, boy, the Padres lit him up, bro. The Padres lit him up, man.
The three most important games for the Mets last year, Max Scherzer spit the bed every single one of them. And Bassett
every one of them.
Chris Bassett also shit the bed too.
Yeah.
Especially during the Braves series when the Mets got swept. Your top three guys got shit the bed at the worst possible time you could do that.
DeGrom was okay. DeGrom was okay.
Well,
DeGrom was the only one that was competent in that team.
Yeah, exactly. No. That's a good way of saying
it. I mean, Bassett got lit up a game, and you had Matt Scherzer. Boy, that dude got lit up. And was it that final game that he pitched?
Every time
that final game jump or that first game that he got lit up?
Every time Scherzer pitched, if it was either that Met or that Brave series or the playoffs, every time he pitched, it'd be a bomb.
I'll tell you what
pitch bomb. Like,
well, he was a
the way that I see it is that I think Scherzer's finally showing his age. I think his age is catching up to him.
Mm-hmm.
I think
that's why I've been worried about DeGrom. Like, are you willing to give him that big money for a guy he's 35, he's gonna be 36, and how many times has he gotten hurt? DeGrom was another
like countless times.
You can't. I don't even think you can count on two hands, let alone one.
Because I mean, most of it is shoulder injuries and back injuries that DeGrom has dealt with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like
we don't have pitching prospects. We have nobody in the farm system that's ready to come up. Our best pitching prospect is probably David Peterson, and he's okay. Tyler McGill, okay. We don't really have anybody in the farm system.
That's I think that starting rotation might take a bit of a hit if.
Oh, it's gonna take a major hit.
Oh yeah, major hit. But good lord. I mean, you got.
We kept Diaz at least, so at least we have our. Closer.
I mean, Diaz, man, the Mets would be dumb enough to let that man walk. Let's be real.
That would have been dumb if you guys let him walk.
I will say this, fellas, with the relief pitcher and a closer, aren't they a lot like a field goal kicker in the NFL, where they're consistent and good one year, and then the next year they suck. It happens all the time.
I mean,
look at Chapman. Aroldis Chapman did it.
Don't get me
for like 1 or 2 years, and now look at him. The Yankees probably wish they could get the hell out of that contract and get him out. And they didn't pitch him. So
I mean, shit. I think for me, the 2016 was his best year. I mean, it was when he was in Chicago.
Absolutely.
But another prediction I've seen. Wow, Carlos Correa going to. I disagree with this one. Correa to the Baltimore Orioles. I do not see that happening. With the limited money that makes sense, but I mean, would you really replace? Then again, you got Ramon Urias had short. Again, you do get an upgrade over that, but I don't know. That's a huge question mark. So I mean, Bassett to the Padres or the Angels. I see more of a pod. I don't know.
I honestly see Bassett walking. Out of all the starting pitchers the Mets have, I think Bassett's the one.
Yeah, I think Bassett's walking, but the question is, where's he going to go? Because I know there's some teams that are pitch needy. Well, the Angels is a perfect example. I don't think
might go back to the West Coast. Might go back to West Coast over there with one of those teams like you mentioned.
Yeah,
Padres are always looking for upgrades.
I mean, I'm trying to think who's.
I doubt if he comes to the Astros. If you want to win, if you want to change a pitching style, come to the Astros. We know how to fix them pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, ain't that right, Tyler?
Yeah,
Hector
don't
unfortunately.
even get me
Don't
started.
remind me.
Don't even get me started,
Dante.
Dante. Don't even get me started. Neris literally made our series a living nightmare when he came out there.
Mhm.
That World Series. And he sucked for us. Are you kidding?
But yeah, so
Go on. You had to throw them shots, didn't you? Didn't you, Dante? You had to throw them shots.
I had to just throw the Norris one in now because I know he came from y'all. And then Robert texts me and say, "Good luck with Hector Norris." And I say, "He'll be fine. He'll be fine because he don't have to
every
close.
time
don't
we
have
get
to
completely
close.
blanked when he's out there. Like, are you kidding me?
Because we got 2 closers already. We got Montero and we got Presley. When Presley is tired, he'll throw Montero in now. That can throw
That
another
killed
guy.
me too. Rafael
Yeah.
Montero pitching good for you guys when he sucked as a Met.
I forgot
He
he
was
pitched for the
horrible
Mets.
as a Met.
Hey,
He was
Joe, we
I
know how to
forgot
fix
about
pitchers.
that.
We know how to fix
He
a
See,
pitcher.
now we're all victims. We're all victims to Dante's team.
We know how to
Sucked
fix
as
a
a
pitcher.
Met.
We know how to fix a pitcher. We know how to
You do. I remember when he was on the Mets, the dude was giving up like he had a 7 or 8 ERA, and the Mets had to DFA him. He was that bad years ago.
He was bad in Seattle.
He goes to the Astros, and now he's an all-star relief pitcher. It's unbelievable what you
He
guys
was
have
bad.
done with
He was
him.
bad in Seattle. He was bad in Seattle too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Very bad in Seattle.
And now he's great with the Astros. He's got a World Series ring. I mean, you can't
He'll
make it
play.
up.
Same thing with Neris.
Hey, he'll
Neris
free
has
agent.
a
You got a
World
chance to get
Series
him back,
ring.
Jeff. You're a free agent. You got a chance to get him
I
back.
don't want
Jeff.
him back. I don't want him back. I do not.
I have a
want
feeling he's
Rafael
going to stay with
Montero.
Houston. That's for
I think he's
sure.
staying with Houston too. He's good in your bullpen.
No, I'm the same way with Neris. If Neris ever walks, I
Well,
don't
Neris
want
has
him
got
back.
1 more year left on it. It's a 2-year deal that he
What about
signed.
Eflin?
Eflin's
I
gone.
said if and when he walks doesn't mean this year or next year. I'm talking about the year after. If and when he walks, I don't want him back either.
So
Because
Eflin's
he'll go
walking?
right back the same way.
He'll go right back to being what he was before.
Mm-hmm.
That sucks.
So who's your starting rotation going into next year? It's gonna be
So-
Nola,
so-
Wheeler,
so-
and who?
Nola, Wheeler, Suarez, and then 2 other guys that we did fill holes with.
Because the other
Syndergaard's not there.
I haven't talked about the other starting pitchers I had.
Syndergaard's not there, and Gibson's not there anymore. And they were our 4th and 5th.
Okay.
And Eflin, he's gone as well. So I mean,
Yeah.
but the other
He
starting
had,
pitchers,
he had a lot of he had a lot of our money, so that's why he had to go.
and I even talked about it in a couple of streams that I talked about it. The starting pitching options, Rodon, Tyler Anderson, Dylan Bundy to really help the back end of the rotation. Because if we do pick up Rodon, I think you could definitely slide him into the 3 and have Ranger at the 4 and maybe have Bundy at the 5. But I mean, we'll see because
Rodon would be nice.
And when it comes to the bullpen, I think we can use a few extra arms. Like I said, Robert Suarez, Nick Martinez had a really really good season. Trevor May, I might is one of those names I don't know if the Mets are going to let him walk or keep. That's a huge question mark. Even though
I'd like to keep him, but I don't know if we're going to be able to. If he's going to want to stay, we have so many free agents. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
and speaking of, shout out to Key in the building that's in the building.
Hey,
what up,
What's
Key?
up?
And Trevor Rosenthal. So those are some starters and bullpen
That dude's
pieces.
still pitching?
A guy like Dylan Bundy though, if he go against a team like the Astros, he'll get lit up. He'll get lit up. He ain't the same Dylan Bundy he used to be. If he go against a good team, he'll get lit up. He
Yeah.
ain't a consistent pitcher now, and he getting older too. He don't got the same velocity. His velocity is in the 90s area. If you play against a very good team, he'll get lit up.
He's more
that's
back
what,
of the end rotation
that's what I'm
guy.
afraid of if we do get a Dylan Bundy. And I looked at the tape too when Dante is right. He doesn't have that velocity that he used to have.
Rodon would be a nice player though.
He would, yeah.
Yeah,
He's a left-handed pitcher. He's a good left-handed pitcher, and I would not be shocked if both the Mets and the Phillies go after him because both those pitching staffs were very right-hand heavy, not really a left-hander consistently. So you get a guy like Rodon for you guys. You could maybe even slot him in at number 2 if you want to split the righties up. If you want to go.
He's a good pitcher though.
And Wheeler. He is a good pitcher.
He's a very solid pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very solid pitcher.
I kind of like that. I kind of like that move. Like you explained it. Like
you have Wheeler
give me
one.
a lot of flexibility to put him anywhere in that pitching rotation, which I like.
Wheeler's your ace.
He's going to work for us the last 3 years.
Nola struggled.
Yeah, Wheeler's the ace. Nola, he ain't no ace. He's a number 2 at best, maybe number 3.
Yeah, at least a solid 3.
Why didn't put Wheeler out?
That's
That was the most stupidest move.
Yeah, I don't know why they took Wheeler
the
out.
game
He's
flipped.
so well.
The stadium started rocking when he went out of the game. In the moment, he hit that home. The moment Jordan Alvarez hit that home run to center field, like I say, you gonna have
over as soon as that back.
That was it. That was a done
oh
deal.
yeah, absolutely.
The Phillies, it took all the energy out of the Phillies after that home run.
Yeah, if you look at that, if you look at the inning, like when they were down 4-1. If you saw all their at bats from there on out, the Phillies essentially just gave up. They throw in the towel.
Pretty much, yeah.
When you have Schwarber bunting with 2 outs, you knew they gave up.
Oh, PSA announcement before anything. Make sure if you're going to go ATV riding, make sure that you stay safe. Shout out to my guy Xavier McKinney. I hope you're going to be healthy and everything. Hope you're going to be healthy because now he's out for a few weeks, and that did not. Giants Twitter is going nuts right now because of the Xavier McKinney injury. I know it's a baseball stream, but we're in the middle of football season. That's going to pop out here and there.
Yeah,
that did not make me happy when I heard about the Xavier McKinney stuff. I'm like, I might feel for him still. That kid.
You guys,
Arco. The actual market opens on Thursday, which I will be live with that. If anybody else wants to pop on and kind of just
what time you having it live?
It starts the entire market itself opens at 5:00 Eastern time, 4:00 your time, Dante.
All right, that's a bit.
What day is it, Rob?
Thursday. Okay.
But teams are really starting to make their moves. To sign players today. Like when Diaz already got re-signed.
I think it's more of a contract extension, if I'm not mistaken, too.
It is. Yeah. They want to get him locked up before they even had a chance to negotiate.
Yeah, so
so Diaz is already re-signed
earlier as a part of the intro because
Nola got his option picked up, so he's staying.
Yeah.
It's like we've seen. I mean, shit. I mean, I even had Dan Vogelback on my free agent target wish list because I think to just have another DH in there, another first baseman,
he's
something
okay.
like that.
He's okay. He didn't do much with us.
I'd rather have someone that's okay than a guy like Hoskins that's just good.
Oh, you don't like Rhys Hoskins?
Hoskins has just been inconsistent for us.
Is terrible on both sides of the ball.
I would take Rhys Hoskins any day of the week and 100 times on Sunday over.
Are you sure you want a guy who strikes out?
I'll take him over Daniel.
Hold on. Hold up. You sure you want a guy who strikes out for 5 weeks and is only good for a week out of the season?
Look at Vogelback numbers. Look at Vogelback's numbers.
And then you want a guy who messes up at first base constantly? I don't want that. I don't want that.
I'll take him. Because Rhys Hoskins, at least, he's going to give you that stretch of really good hitting, home run power, and RBIs. Vogelback, he's an okay player, and that's it. He's a bit player. At least
I'd rather have a guy who's okay than a guy who's weak, who only has like a weak stretch for like the entire season of playing good baseball, and then he's terrible for like 5 weeks out of the whole year.
I understand that
the entire time. I'd rather have Vogelback.
And Vogelback in 2022, oh damn! My computer was up, screwing up. I'm looking at Fangraphs. So far, a 238 average, 360 on base, 433 slugging. I mean,
he's horrible. He's not good.
Yeah, that's the best average he's put up throughout his career.
I mean, either way, they're both terrible, but I feel like Hoskins is exponentially worse.
Oh, we're not talking about Katy Perry syndrome again.
What's Katy Perry?
Remember the song Hot and Cold?
I got it.
Yeah, that's
the process.
To be honest, I do rock with that song from time to time.
It's just funny because it's like that's just the way we just talked about it.
It's a funny analogy, Mikey.
Hey, Jeff, you know what I seen in the World Series, Jeff and Minch? I talked about this to Tyler and Robert. You know, Rhys Hoskins tried to get a hit so bad. He wanted that double so bad down the left field line. Yeah. He put his arms on his knees. And
he knew it was over. He knew it was done.
He was already beat. You know what happened in the very next pitch? He struck out looking. He wanted that double
he didn't even
so
try.
bad.
He didn't even try. He just looked at the ball and then just walked off.
On his knees. You already beat at that point because you're frustrated. get a hit, you already beat at that point. You already beat.
Yeah.
You already beat at that point.
All right. I'm gonna pop off for a bit, so just gonna.
I appreciate that, Mitch, for coming on.
Okay, brother. Thank you for coming
Who
on.
are we? The Commanders.
Oh my god, I'm gonna be on Birds of Broad Street with this. I can't wait.
Yeah, just do me a favor, Mitch,
Listen,
before you go. Don't
At least you got the
lose.
Eagle shirt on. At least you got the Eagle shirt on, symbolizing that you're picking on that team. So whatever.
Oh yeah, I know.
Don't lose until we get to you in week 14, and then we're gonna give you guys your first L.
Don't
That's what's
lose
happening.
until we see you. Then
come
how about that?
on,
Don't lose.
Well, I don't want to disrespect Coach Dante's Texans, but we should not be losing to Houston in MetLife Stadium.
Nobody should
Nah,
have lose
that's
against Houston.
bad.
They're terrible.
Yep.
Oh
It's
my
not
God.
Met Life. It's Meth Life. Okay, it's Meth Life.
Yeah, just like stinking Financial Field, right?
Wow.
Yes,
You know
I
how
did
many
that.
times I hear that every day?
Well, you just heard it again now.
But so
I mean,
far, the
hey,
pros-
it can't be. It can't be worse than Ben Simmons.
Yeah, he's actually playing tonight. Thank God. It's about time he actually plays.
Hairball,
Dude, Ben is just. Oh my gosh, I feel bad for Nets
Don't even get me
fans.
started, Tyler. Don't get me started with Ben Simmons.
We'll get him
Uh,
started. Get him started.
Listen,
Tyler.
all I gotta say is we feel for you guys. That's all I gotta say.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No,
Not
you
sure.
do not.
Yes,
feel
I do.
for us.
Yeah, I do, brother. Yes, I do, man. You know, I feel bad for Nets fans. I do.
I mean, so far
You guys
when I'm looking, especially with Carlos, when I'm looking at Rodon's numbers, this 2015, other than outside of this season, 2015 was also another decent season for him at a 3.75. But just,
Yeah.
I mean, but to put up a sub, I mean, career wise, it's a 3.6 ERA.
We tried.
I'm trying to tell y'all
Yeah,
about.
we did try.
But so far, I mean, this season, I mean, he pitched.
I mean, hey. They got rid of their head coach. We still have ours.
Yeah, we're still an issue because we still have Doc can't coach Rivers.
There's
But-
this poll on Twitter. Sixers fans don't think we're going to reach 50 wins with Doc Rivers.
No, we're
I don't
not. We're
see
probably
it.
going to win at least 30. Probably
30,
not even that.
between 30
Probably
and
win like 20.
but
Probably 20.
well, that's that's going to be a different story for another day. So I mean,
All right, guys. I'll catch y'all later. Have a good one.
all right, Mitch.
All
All
You
right.
too, brother.
Left hand up.
But yeah, but so far, I mean, Rodon started 31 games, pitched 178 innings, a 2.88 ERA, and a 2.2 FIP with a 6.2 WAR. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's that's another guy I think try to watch out for. But it's like I said, with some of these big name free agents, you know, Aaron Judge really leading the way, Trey Turner. What I've seen is like, oh boy, man! If MLB free agency it's gonna break this free agency class is gonna break the damn baseball world.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Rob, I got an NFL update if you want me to throw it out there.
Shoot.
On Josh Allen.
Throw it,
Josh
yep.
Allen has a minor elbow injury, and he's going to be limited this week at practice for the Bills. It might not be it's a situation to monitor, even though it might not be serious. So the Bills, after their ass kicking by the Jets yesterday, they might be a little worried about their starting quarterback. Mr. Allen might be
boy.
banged up.
They're in trouble. They're in trouble. Ooh.
Yep. So, and someone actually posted a graphic of free agent predictions. They saw that DeGrom might go to Texas, Jameson Tyone to the Diamondbacks. Good Lord. I see them
Tyone
like
sucks, too.
so. The Mets have like hypothetically might have JD Martinez for the DH spot.
I love that.
Dansby Swanson stays. Mitch Hanner goes to the Guardians. That's an interesting one. Martin Perez stays with Texas.
I would love Mitch Haniger to play some left field for me. Because Trey Mancini, we may let him go. So again, I would love him to come play some left field for Yuli Daria. I would love to let him walk. And just bring up.
I feel like they should cut their losses with Trey Mancini. The guy went like 1 for like 18.
I wouldn't be mad if they do. Because we do need a left fielder. We do need a left fielder. And someone like a Benintendi will fit our mold, that contact hitting and power. And I wouldn't be surprised if we can get Mitch Haniger. Hey, you want to lead the Mariners and come to the World Series champs, the team that knocked you out? Come over there and join. We don't mind. I know when Mitch Haniger is healthy, he's an underrated bat that people can
He
have.
says, how much do you want for Valdez?
Who said?
That's
How
key.
much you want for Vince?
How much we want for Valdez? He's untouchable. But you can give us Reese Hoskinson. We'll fix him for you. We'll fix him.
Dude,
Javier
if that
too.
happens, I'll be no. If this man goes to the Astros and he plays lights out defensively, I'll be angry.
Javier was
screaming.
unbelievable too. I've never heard of that Javier kid. All of a sudden he's going out there, it's like shutting everybody out. Who the hell is this guy?
He used to be
playing
a
so well?
bullpen guy. He used to be a bullpen
He
guy.
what? And
He always had the stuff, but he used to be a bullpen guy. But now you see the real. Hey, he pitched a no hit against the Yankees. Don't you know how tough you got to be? How tough you got to be to pitch a no hitter against the New York Yankees?
Yankees are such a hit. They are such an all or nothing baseball team.
Yo,
They
if
did
it's not a home run,
it again in the playoffs. They did
If
again.
it's not a home run,
Same for the Phillies. Same for the
If it's
Phillies.
not a
They're
home
all or
run,
nothing.
if it's not a home run, they're not gonna hit. They're not
You're
gonna
right.
hit if it's not a home
Look
run.
at Aaron Judge. He did nothing. Stan did nothing. Rizzo did nothing. That entire Yankees
the only guy
lineup,
that's ever
once
did
again,
anything for that Yankees was Harrison Bader. For the
Bader
love of God.
carried them.
Bader was good.
Bader was the reason why they didn't lose to the Guardians. Bader was the reason why they didn't lose to the Guardians.
And that's the one reason why maybe the Yankees would be hesitant to sign Judge to a major long-term deal is because of the fact he's going to be 31. Also the fact they're going to think, you know what, is Aaron Judge really going to do the same thing he did this past season? Probably not. And do you want to try to lock up a guy long-term who is right now proven he can't hit when it gets to the postseason? He's been bad every single year in the postseason. Do you want to lock up a guy long-term who might be great in the regular season?
That's a very good point.
That's Aaron Judge and the rest of those Yankees hitters too. If Stanton was better than Judge,
I would not mind taking a chance on Rizzo. I mean, you can at least get one or two good years out of Rizzo for sure.
But here's the problem, Rob. Here's the problem. We need contact hitters, not all or nothing players. We already have those.
You'd be surprised of how good Rizzo can be.
But you'd be surprised how much the guy strikes out when he's not hitting bombs.
Actually,
we need contact hitters.
And I'm gonna tell you this. Rizzo is a good hitter. He don't strike out like that. He's a good hitter. He's a very solid hitter. So if he plays first base,
I don't know. He was part of the problem why they got no hit by the Astros.
Yeah, but you gotta realize it's the Astros. The Astros are the best pitching staff in baseball.
Astros are in that team's head. The
Astros we're the best pitching staff in baseball.
The New York Yankees heads. Whenever the Yankees see the Astros, they just freeze.
Like they just shut off. It's like,
yeah.
Dude, oh my gosh, it was kind of like us in that game 3.
It's like us with the Braves. We can't beat the Braves. Whenever we play against the Braves, they're in our heads like they did to us this past season in that important 3-game series where we were up by 2 and they swept us. It just seems like certain teams are in another.
They just know how to play those, like getting your heads rent free, basically.
Exactly. Yeah, right. Like in the NFL, the Jets played so well against the Bills. They went out there and played great against the Bills. What's the one team they can't seem to beat? The New England Patriots.
I'm telling you, if Rizzo goes to the Phillies, he'll be a good first baseman. He's not strikeout prone.
Okay, maybe I could use Rizzo.
And I think this year he had almost like a 12% walk rate. So he has a bit of
walks and he gets on base a lot. It's just the Astros. It's just the Astros.
He was great. He was great at the beginning of the season. He was hitting well. He was getting on base consistently. He was hitting home runs. He got banged up at one point, and then he just went downhill after that because the injuries caught him up. And he just wasn't able to get back onto a right track because he was hitting really well. When everybody's talking about how Judge was getting off to a great start and Stanton, when the Yankees were playing incredible baseball at the beginning of the season. Who were the 3 catalysts? Judge, Stanton, and Rizzo. All 3 of them were hitting incredibly well at the beginning of the season. Then Stanton got hurt, and then Rizzo got hurt, and Judge had to pretty much carry that offense throughout the entire season because Stanton was out for pretty much a couple of months, and Rizzo was on and off with injuries, and he just couldn't regain that stroke that he had at the beginning of the season. So Rizzo's a great hitter. He is getting up there in age, but the guy is a good contact hitter. He will hit the ball out of the park. He does play really good first base, so I think Anthony Rizzo.
And there was another guy that I didn't mind taking a chance on too. Was Jose Abreu for the Chicago White Sox.
Absolutely.
Jose Abreu, I've been really high on.
Even though the power numbers had dipped, but the fact he still hit a 300 hours for a horrible White Sox team.
He puts the bat on the ball a lot.
And is he a DH more than a first base? Would you have him more as a DH or a first baseman?
A DH. I have him more as a DH.
I agree. I would have him as a DH. I would not put him as a first baseman.
To think about it, I would have Rizzo first and then him DH.
I could see, yeah.
But then what would you put Schwarber then? Because he's usually
Schwarber could also use as a DH as well. And that's something that.
But you play Schwarber more on the field. You play Schwarber more on the field.
Well, if we do, because we also
we only put Schwarber on the field because of
because of Harper's
Harper having
elbow injury.
having a DH, and then Castellanos having to play right. We usually have Castellanos at left, and then have Schwarber DH.
You switch them. You have some days you can have Rizzo DH. You can have Schwarber play left field or right field, and then other days you can have Rizzo go out there first base.
That's a good point as well.
Honestly, I would. Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't even use Castellanos. I would use just those three.
I mean, I think that's a very good point. And I've seen other predictions. I have it on my phone on Twitter that we've seen like Gurriel stays with Houston. Kenley Jansen going to Miami. That's an interesting prediction. That's very interesting.
Kenley Jansen to Miami.
I thought Jansen would stay with the Dodgers.
That's what I thought. But apparently, I mean, I guess leaving the Dodgers, he had a really good season this year. Yeah. Surprisingly.
Everybody goes to the Dodgers. They don't normally leave the Dodgers. So, I mean, it's going to be surprising to see Jansen leave because that would be a big hole that they'd have to try to fill in that closer.
Because, I mean, shit, they were trying to fill it with Kimbrel. He fucking sucked. I mean, that back end for the Dodgers.
Not good. Padres got a Hader, and Hader was so bad when they traded for him.
Yeah,
he was like I think he was left off the postseason roster. He was that bad.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
It was awful when they picked him up in that trade with the Brewers.
Looks like Bell stays with San Diego.
That'd be a good move. Bell's a good player. I think he'd be.
Bell, I would not mind picking up either. A switch hitting first baseman. I would not. I could not be mad.
Yeah.
Gene, see, I rather let Gene walk because, like I said,
I would let Gene walk and then try to push for maybe Trey Turner and moving Stott to maybe second. Yeah,
because the problem with the Mets too is that we also have extensions that need to be done for Pete Alonso and Jeff McNeil.
I forgot about
those are two big players, part of our team. Alonso is due for an extension in the next year or two. He's going to get it, and I would say the same thing about Jeff McNeil. So. How much money?
Pete Alonso breaks.
McNeil was our best hitter towards the end of the season. McNeil is a great contact hitter, and Alonso, he struggled a little bit towards the end of the season. He did not perform well in the end of the season and into the playoffs. Jeff McNeil was probably our most consistent hitter, and we do have some young prospects that are coming up. So when I was thinking about catcher, I'm like. We already have arguably the number one prospect in Francisco Alvarez. That's going to be coming up and probably starting a catcher. We also got Mark Vientos came up. We got Brett Beatty. Well, Tomas Nido is just going to be – Tomas Nido is a good backup catcher. He just can't.
I think at this point, cut your loss with McCann at this point.
Oh, get rid of him. I do not want James McCann.
Like, he has not been the same after he left Chicago.
Alvarez should be the starter, and Nido should be the backup.
Oh yeah, I mean, play that's like simple explanation because I mean, I've seen. I mean, look, I know the minor league numbers may not seem like a lot, but Francisco Alvarez, though, good lord, that kid's got some. There's some sky's the limit with him.
He needs to develop, yeah. And I would even put Brett Beatty over there, maybe like put him over there at third base if you had to, because he's got a lot of upside too in terms.
Absolutely,
of
because
he got injured though, broke his finger, I believe, and he missed the rest of the season. So
yeah,
he's got a lot of upside too.
Trying to think, I mean, because I mean, the Mets got to do something because I mean, we see
we'll do something with Stevie.
I mean, we've seen play. I've seen over the course of the Mets. I mean, we've seen a guy like Justin Turner. That's kind of stupid, though. You couldn't let the Justin Turner develop, and we see what the player he's become.
He was bad, and they did not have patience. It was the same thing with Daniel Murphy. How good Daniel Murphy was when he was in that 2015 World Series.
Yeah,
that playoff run. Daniel Murphy was the biggest reason why the Mets went as far as they did. Besides the pitching, was Daniel Murphy. And then they let him go, and the guy becomes a perennial, one of the top players in Major League Baseball over there with the Nationals for a couple of years, and obviously fizzled out. But that was one of the biggest blunders. I actually think Turner has developed into a very good player over there with the Dodgers. Give him credit. But the Murphy one aggravated me more because Murphy was a good player with the Mets. Turner was more of a pitch player, but I want to keep Murphy. That would hurt me when he left.
Yeah.
He became a great player with the Nationals.
Another guy I think I felt like, and me talked about this too, was David Wright. It's a big what if story if he didn't had all those injuries that derailed his career.
Got hurt.
Like
He's
it's
on
just
his way to a Hall of Fame career potentially, the way he was playing.
Mm-hmm. And just all the injuries just catch up to him.
Jose Reyes too.
Reyes was another guy that was
Reyes. He was one of my. He was like. Kind of like what I am with like Freddie Freeman when he played for the Braves. He was kind of like my favorite Met player.
Like it's hard.
Jose Reyes was good
because it's hard to hate a guy like Reyes because I mean, I don't know what is going on, but like Josh Bell, I don't mind bringing in. Or I mean, I know Trey Turner, like I said, it's more of the expensive side, but I do think you get more of experience with Xander Bogaerts because he's been there and done that. But like I said, it's just like the Boston man. Man, I know Bobby. Good lord, I could imagine how frustrating. Well, then and Tyler too from experience. He now Tyler's in that New England area, so unfortunately, that's the
they've won enough.
yeah.
Okay, they've won enough. No offense, Boston guys, but you guys have won enough already.
Unfortunately,
we haven't won since 1986. I have no pity for anybody else. We haven't won in almost 40 years. So
that's crazy.
I apologize if I don't have any pity for like anybody else like, going through some crazy woes.
But I mean, I don't know, man. I think on paper, I would have seen this this Mets team on paper be a World Series contender because all the talent you had, Diaz, I mean, a really good bullpen. I mean, and just for some reason, it was kind of iffy. I think
when Marte got hurt, our lineup just crashed.
Yeah, it was because Marte, I feel like if he stayed healthy, I think the series could have been a lot different than what it showed this past season. But
I agree.
But I feel like now that we can say from experience too, man. I think we lost. I think when we had when Harper went down, and me and Tyler said this too. Like we thought our season was over because it's the same song and dance we've seen the last 2-3 years at that point.
Yeah.
But we played above 500 baseball without him. Same with Segura too. Segura was just one of those guys that's like, even though when he went down, it kind of hurt a little bit, but
he's an intangible player in a way.
Yeah, that's.
Well, the problem with us and the thing that hurt us throughout the entire season is our DH position gave us literally nothing. I mean, Dominic Smith, for how good he played a couple of years ago, he was a major flop for them this year. He was so bad they sent him down to the minor leagues for pretty much the second half of the season. J.D. Davis was awful that we had to trade him to San Francisco, and he all of a sudden starts to get it back. And then we make trades for guys like Tyler Naquin, for Darren Ruff, and obviously Vogelback, and they give us next to nothing. Our lineup was pretty much half and half, whereas like the top half of our lineup between Nimmo, Marte, Lindor, Alonso, and McNeil all hit consistent at different times in the season. After that, nothing. Eduardo Escobar was awful for half the season. Then he played well towards the second half. We got 0 from the catching position. We got 0 from the DH position. Our bottom of the lineup was so bad, they could not hit at all. That's what derailed this baseball team towards the end, besides the ineffective pitching that happened. But it was the lineup that just could not get the job done. Our bullpen was the biggest problem throughout most of the season. A lot of fans saw, and the bullpen actually ended up being a pretty good strength for us towards the end of the season. It was just the starting pitching, and it was the lineup that hurt this team going into the playoffs.
Yeah, that is surprising to see that. And I mean, like I said, I mean, we don't know exactly who's going to go where until Thursday at 5:00. Now we're seeing some Japanese players getting posted. I mean, John Morosi put this out yesterday that Kodai Senga is getting posted. So we'll see where he's going to wind up. And same with Yoshida from the Oryx Buffalo. So we're going to see 2 Japanese players getting posted sometime this year. So I mean, that's like I said. I mean, free agency the baseball world is going to be shaking up hard.
But Rob, this is the thing though with free agency. It's so weird. I mean, most of the time during Major League Baseball free agency, you don't see stars signing immediately. It's not like the NFL or the NBA where it's like every single second when free agency starts, bang, 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 they're all getting signed.
Oh yeah.
Baseball, it takes time. You don't really see people get signed early in November. Sometimes it goes towards the winter meetings in December. Sometimes it goes even afterwards. And you've seen guys at times get signed in January, sometimes February, where Major League Baseball actually had to go out of their way at one point. Remember the whole Machado and Harper thing that happened a couple of years ago where guys didn't sign until near spring training. So you have to wonder if like baseball players are going to take their time and not want to sign immediately. So I'm not expecting Major League Baseball free agency to start getting going until really around the winter meetings in early December.
I can definitely agree with
right
that.
After it, towards like maybe Christmas or towards the new year. That's why I think you're going to see baseball free agency.
I can see where where the big stars might come out and start signing. I mean, I think But yeah, it's like I said. I mean, with some of these big stars already out on the free agent market, oh boy, it's gonna really break the baseball world the way how everything's gonna go. But we'll see what
Aaron
happens.
Judge.
Yeah, Judge. If if he leaves, oh good lord, that is gonna.
It's going to be pandemonium. And if the Yankees do not keep Aaron Judge, I swear Yankees fans might literally go to Yankee Stadium and demand to have Hal Steinbrenner sell that team and have Brian Cashman fired. You can't let Aaron Judge go. You can't do it. I hate saying it, but it's good. As much as it might be a risk with Aaron Judge, it's such a bad look for the flagship team of the Major League Baseball and the New York Yankees to let the best player in Major League Baseball go because you want a penny pinch and not give this guy his deal. I'm telling you, it's going to be a massive crap show. I'm trying to censor myself. Crap show over there with New York if the Yankees do not bring back Aaron Judge. It's going to get messy. If he somehow signs with the Mets, do you know how bad that's going to look?
It's a very bad look. It's
going to get ugly.
But yeah, man, it's just like looking at its entirety. It's just like, man, wow, that's really. It's funny. I actually watched a couple Yankees games. I saw the fan base say sell the team. I was like, oh, good lord. They're already getting on that sell the team.
Because they're pissed that Hal Steinbrenner's not his father. Whereas George Steinbrenner, if this was George Steinbrenner still owning that team, they would be putting out a ton of money, and they're like, Aaron Judge, you ain't going nowhere. We're going to give you whatever you want, and we're going to go out there and be aggressive and make moves. Hal Steinbrenner, he's a little bit more conservative when it comes to his movements. It seems like Yankees fans are pissed because right now they think that the Yankees are more just about – being complacent just to make the playoffs. They'll do a little bit to get by, et cetera, et cetera. That Garrett Cole contract has killed them, too. Cole is not pitched like an ace. $300 million for a guy that right now is probably a nice number one, maybe a number two. He's not an ace. And that's the problem. They paid $300+ million for a guy that's not an ace.
It's funny, and I've seen like Pedro Severino actually pitch better than Garrett Cole. I've seen Nestor. I mean, let's be real. I think Nestor Cortez
has been better. I agree, and Nestor Cortez too.
And Cortez should be the number one of that rotation. I think Garrett Cole's a solid number two. The way that this rotation is built. And speaking about another fellow Yankees fan coming up in here, Nate.
Yo.
What's going on, Nate?
What's good? Oh my God, I heard about that
judge. Oh, good lord, that's gonna break the baseball world. But man. I mean, the fan base is already chanting to sell the team. Man, Yankees got a lot.
I have a question for Nate. Nate,
go.
You are the New York Yankees GM. Aaron Judge comes up to you and he asks, what are you going to be willing to give me for a contract? What would you put on the table for Aaron Judge? Years and dollars to bring him back.
So I talked to this with a lot of my guys who are all my Yankee fans. I said this. I would give him a 7-year contract worth, so if I'm going to do this right, 400 plus. You got to give him the big bucks. You can't because he rejected $33 million back in the winter, which was it. Everyone was calling him, you're too lazy. You don't want the money. Now he worked. He said, I'm going to make you guys prove me wrong and give you that $40 million deal, which is probably what's going to happen. He's going to be up into that. He's probably, I would say, 415, 420. He's going to get paid. The Yankees, they can't bullshit this one around. They can't just say, 330 with a lot of years. He doesn't want that. Judge wants the dollars more than the years right now, which is, if I'm the Yankees, if the Yankees get it to 5-year deal, I would be happy at a 5-year deal. Give him 5 or 6, maybe 7. I'm down with 7 too, but you can't give this dude a 10-year deal because you see what happened to Cole. Cole is just, you see what happened. They gave him the years more than the money. Now the money is going to be holding in these next couple years. And Howe is not going to spend money. He's shown it already. He's not spending. He's not going to give you that shortstop you guys want. He's not going to give you guys that big free agent y'all want. We ain't signing no one for the next 7 years until that Cole contract is gone. That's what's going to happen. Maybe we can get a platoon outfielder, someone that we need in the outfield, center fielder. I'm not expecting a big offseason besides Judge. I'm not expecting us to get a big starting pitcher because I honestly think Rodon could be a Philly. By the end of this, we could see the Phillies be having a much more. When the Philly people were saying the Phillies GM sucks, our GM sucks. I cannot stand the Brian Cashman Haustein brother. These dudes do not understand how to build a team from the ground up.
You think that you're complacent? You think that you're complacent? They're just like happy to be there in a way.
They're happy. They're happy with just not. They don't do the rebuilding right. They started the rebuild in 2015, 2016, which is I was happy with that team. That team actually showed some heart. Actually ran the bases correctly and not overran every base that they did this season. The first half team, every Yankee fan was happy with the first half team. That first half team killed baseball in general. They went into every series saying that we're the best team. Let's play good fundamental baseball, bunt the ball, which is what every Yankee fan. We haven't seen bunting in the last 7 years because we were just home run, which is not how you build a baseball team.
Yeah.
I mean, it showed that bit him in the ass.
Yes. And that's what happened in the playoffs. The Astros did more hitting, which is their hitting is not their strongest. Their pitching is.
Yeah.
Which is how they win ball games. The Yankees do not have pitching, and they definitely don't have hitting right now.
And let's just be real, too. Your farm system has not come through. The Yankees have been an organization right now. What the reason why the Yankees were so good for so long? Farm system players they always brought up, and they were able to replenish other guys by bringing in key free agents or trades. But they had the key guys in terms of the guys they brought up from the farm system. All those players. Look at the Yankees now. Who are those key guys they have brought up from the farm system besides Aaron Judge, and if you want to say to a smaller degree, Gleyber Torres and Luis Severino?
Which the thing was, they traded for Gleyber.
That's true.
They didn't pick him up. They traded him for Chapman, which is what people need to understand. We didn't build Gleyber. Gleyber was already built through Chicago. Yep. He was going to be, and everyone knew Gleyber was going to be a beast when he got traded. Gleyber was the hot stone name. He was the best prospect, and the Cubs were calling this dude a franchise player. The Yankees got him, and we definitely used his bat, but the bat of Gleyber right now has been atrocious at the plate. He can't hit. He can't play defense. Besides when he's at second base, which is where he could actually win a Gold Glove, because I think he can't throw the ball, which is why he's playing second. And
I think they messed with that kid way too much when they kept moving him from shortstop to second to shortstop to second. They should have just kept him where he was so he could at least get comfortable at that position. When they moved him all over the place, that might have done something cerebral to what happened with Gleyber.
And that's why I told people, man, I was like, Gleyber he was comfortable at second. Gleyber was thriving as a second baseman. It was like, and then his swag just went away. Like, remember when Gleyber used to wear those long chains where he was like, now he's just different. Gleyber just thinks he's more professional now, which is not what Gleyber is. Gleyber was he was the energy guy. He was the 2 strikes. No one could have struck this dude out with 2 strikes. He had the best 2-strike approach in baseball in general. You couldn't strike this dude out to save his life. In 2018, 2019, the Astros fans were saying walk Gleyber Torres because they didn't want to face him anywhere in 2 strikes. Now he's definitely an easy out. You can definitely pitch this dude inside and he can't hit anything.
I think another point too, man. I think the one trade that fucked him upwards too is Gio Urshela.
Yes.
And look how well he actually produced since leaving New York.
Yeah.
And for Donaldson, this is what I don't understand. What
Donaldson sucks. He's not the same as he was.
This is what I don't understand about this. The Yankees got basically got Josh Donaldson for Carlos Correa. Because Carlos Correa, they used the money from Donaldson to get Correa. If you're thinking about it in that world, that's basically what they did. Because Donaldson's contract is at $27 million. The Yankees took the $27 million and basically said, give them Correa. Correa, go win a championship. And they didn't do anything this year. But the Twins they're going to be I think the Twins in the next 2 years, they're a contending team. They have the pieces and they actually have a really good team going forward. Royce Lewis is right there. Royce Lewis, when he hits his stride, he's going to be an all-star type player. I said the same thing about Pena when he went to the Astros. This dude, Royce Lewis has a great glove. Him and Correa is told this is like his side piece. And that's basically what they called each other, the 1 and 2. And then when Royce went down, that team just fell off because Correa said, "I have a backup next to me. He could play second. He could play third. He could play anywhere on the diamond." When you lose a guy like that, it hurts the team. But Donaldson has been a big atrociousment. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa has been one of the worst shortstops since he went to the Yankees.
Aaron Hicks has killed you guys too. Aaron Hicks trade has been horrible.
Hicks has been he's the definition of a waste contract. $10 million for a dude who's
Ellsbury all over again.
Yeah, he's
sure. Don't get me started on that contract.
Yankees have had some doozies lately with Jacoby Ellsbury and now Aaron Hicks. They paid the wrong guys. They paid the wrong guys long term, and it's hurt that organization.
It's hurting them now still. It's hurting them now because they paid Chapman. They paid Chapman and Britton. Chapman and Britton, which Britton, we don't know where the hell that guy is. That guy's been, since he came here, he hasn't done anything. Now that's $13 million. That's basically $30 million you waste on two relievers who haven't pitched in probably 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
DJ LeMahieu, that's another one that ran.
Yeah.
The loss of DJ LeMahieu hurt that team going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
They needed 100%. Him over there at the top of that lineup, and when he was out with injury, they just didn't have anybody that could be a table setter for that baseball team, and they were pretty much all consistently just all or nothing. They were either just going to strike out a ton, or there's going to be guys that are just going to hit the ball long. And let's just be real, like we mentioned about Aaron Judge, as much as we praise the guy, what has he done in the postseason? Nothing.
Yeah,
he's done nothing.
Right. But I agree with Jeff. That's what I'm going to say, though. If you understand, Judge thrives with people on base. They didn't get this dude on base at all. No one was getting on base.
No, you're right. They didn't.
You can't win. Yeah, this is what I tell people all the time. You can't let one guy win you the game. People need to step up when your best player is down. That's why the Phillies made it all the way to the World Series. Bryce was having struggle series. World Series, he popped off. They lost, but your key player will step up when he needs to be stepping up. The Yankees, were not getting on base, and they weren't giving Aaron Judge any guys on base. Judge hit 2 home runs all by himself.
Mm-hmm.
He hit 2 home runs by himself. I think it was unbelievable that Bader did his job.
Bader was great.
Bader was, and one error, these guys was the one error that he made. People were saying it's his fault. He made one error. And they say he sucks.
Bader was your best player in the postseason overall. Bader was great.
Yes,
absolutely.
He was carrying the whole offense. It was Cabrera was carrying himself. Oswaldo Cabrera looked like he's in that first series. He was terrible. I have to admit, his first series was terrible. The second, the ALCS, he played up. That was the best series I've seen him play as a Yankee so far. He played amazing defense, which is what he does. He can play everywhere, and that's a dude I'm excited for next year because that dude has a great arm. He's probably going to be one of the best outfielders. I think he may win a Gold Glove next year with his arm. You need to understand, you can't throw on that dude. You can't run.
And Nate, I will say this too. I think one of the biggest things that really hurt your team too was the Michael King injury in the bullpen.
Oh yeah, Michael King.
Your bullpen was doing so well. Michael King was one of the top relievers in Major League Baseball at that time, and then when he got hurt, that bullpen just sunk. Clay Holmes was not he's not the closer. Michael King was doing so well.
King Efros. Efros was going to be the Yankees. That was my guy. I loved that. Scott Efros was my guy over there, but he was pitching gems. He got injured. Him and King got injured. The season was. I already told people I said we're not going to win anything.
Yeah.
But the bullpen that we had, Clark Schmidt was our setup man at that time. Clark Schmidt is a guy who's been Tommy John driven his whole career. He is your setup man.
And Clay Holmes is not a closer.
He really is. And even think about it too. I think that the Yankees were almost like 20 games up over Tampa Bay, and and we saw the bullpen just kind of faltered. And I mean,
I'm telling you, that whole AL with the AL East, the bullpens were apart. After like this,
they did.
The Blue Jays bullpen just went apart in like every aspect.
Well, yeah, I mean, both
those guys were just
Toronto's back end is just not great, or that middle part of that bullpen. And the thing is with us though, and like you said,
to you guys, I said Toronto's bullpen will screw them up somehow, some way. Early on in the season, they were great. Romano was probably one of the best. He's one of the hardest guys to hit in baseball. After they figured out, and I told people he was tipping. I seen that leg, and teams were finally going to show it. He tipped his fastball like so crazy because when he goes out the windup, right, his leg goes so high that you could know he's throwing the fastball. When he's low, it's off speed pitch, which is what Altuve says. Like he was tipping. Every hitter after that, when he heard Altuve said that, they all went off. They were just going crazy on that dude.
Yeah.
I was like,
Blue Jays were a
I
major
said, arm
disappointment
delivery is
too.
important in baseball. Arm delivery is the best thing you need to have as a pitcher.
It really is.
Blue Jays were such a major disappointment this year.
I'll say this too, and this is where I think where the Yankees fell too. Like us, we played with house money. We had guys that, even though our first isn't the best, we had guys, and even that trade down, we took a chance on Amundo Sosa, Brandon Marsh actually kind of been a spark plug for us.
Marsh is gonna be good, man.
Well, that's the biggest problem is that for my team and Nate's team, we were so good and consistent for most of the season. And let's just be real, when the trade deadline came, the Yankees and the Mets did jack squat. Neither team went out there and made the big moves that they should have made. Yeah. The Mets went out there and got 3 guys that are bench players at best, and they did nothing for this team. And the Yankees, they stayed quiet. And look what happened. They couldn't stay consistent for the rest of the season. They got worn out. Judge was pretty much the only guy that carried that team. And I have to be honest, I think Judge got worn down from carrying that baseball team, and nobody else did anything. That when the postseason came around, Judge had nothing left. And the Mets, they got worn down in the starting pitching because DeGrom was out for a lot. And then when he came back, he was the only guy who was maybe okay. The rest of the starting pitching could get the job done. Alonso got worn down. And I think those two teams were just so good at the beginning of the season. They peaked too early. I think the Yankees and the Mets peaked too early. And I think also they did not make the necessary moves at the trade deadline to help put them over the top. And it's a reason why both of them got bounced so early in the postseason because they didn't have enough pitching. They didn't have enough hitting.
You know what killed the Yankees? Frankie Montas. When we got Montas, we said he was going to be a beautiful number 2. Him, Cole, Sevy, Cortez.
Yeah.
We were saying that was going to be our 1 through 4. We're going to go straight to the playoffs and just roll with that.
Taillon was horrible too.
Taillon is just washed at this point because he is
horrible.
He's as I tell people, he's a back end reliever. He's not back. No, he's not a back end. I'm not gonna say that. He's a back end starter. Yeah, thank you. Back end starter. That's I just like Taillon. Like he was so great at the beginning of the season. That was probably the best I've ever seen Taillon. His fastball was had so much life. His off speed, a changeup he's always had is amazing, but he stopped using the changeup. He stopped using the slider, and he just went all fastballs, which is with Taillon, he throws 91. These hitters are hitting 99 miles per hour fastballs. They're going to see the 91 at some point, and it's going to explode. And this is why I'm scared with teams that are going to sign him. His arm is destroyed for how much Tommy Johns he has had. He has had 2 Tommy John surgeries in the last 2 years.
He's got to learn how to pitch, though. You have to learn how to pitch. You can pitch 91 miles per hour, but if you have good movement on your pitches, you could still get people out, and that's the problem. That's the lost art of Major League Baseball in terms of pitching now. Everybody's trying to go out there and blow people away with 99, 100, 100-plus mile-an-hour stuff. People forget how to pitch, and that's the problem is that when you're going to get exposed if you keep trying to blow people away because hitters are going to learn how to adjust, and they're going to hit those balls out of the park. You have to learn as a starting pitcher how to pitch, and that's the one thing that happened to those Mets pitchers is they all tried to blow everybody away. Look at Matt Harvey. He just lost it after that one injury he had, but he didn't know how to pitch. Syndergaard didn't know how to pitch.
Tommy John took him out.
Doesn't know how to pitch. But Syndergaard was losing it even before he had Tommy John. He was
you can definitely tell
he was done. Mets didn't know how to pitch. Wheeler's the one guy that got better, and DeGrom, he learned how to pitch. And that's the difference of a good pitcher and a great pitcher is you could blow people away, but if you know how to put good movement on your pitches, you could still get people out, even if you pitch to like 90, 91 miles per hour, because the movement is what is most important for a starting pitcher and a reliever.
And real quick, an example of that is Nelson Cortez.
Exactly.
Cortez is between 92 to 93. And we can say this too, like Suarez. Like Suarez is between 93 and 94. And there was a couple instances where he hit 95, 96 on certain pitches. Yeah, like we have guys that have an ability to lean rear one back, not to 95, 96 when they really needed to really get that.
And you know what Cortez did? He said this himself. I'm going to break barrels. Hit the inside. If you want to break your barrel on me, hit the inside pitches. You can break barrels. You can make hitters uncomfortable. And that's why I don't understand this. If you want to challenge a hitter, just throw it inside where you can back them off the plate. I hate when pitchers just throw it right down the middle, throw it inside pitch. Right? These hitters, I understand, give them some respect. This is what I hate about most of these MLB pitchers. They think they're so cool throwing 99. They throw it right down the middle. A hitter like Jordan will crush it. A hitter like Judge will crush a 99-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle. Hitters,
it's the lost art of Major League Baseball, Nate. Pitchers don't understand that you could pitch 99 plus, 100 plus miles per hour for so long. Eventually, you're going to lose it. Eventually, that fastball is going to go away.
It's going to go down.
Then what's going to happen? You're going to become an ineffective pitcher. That's when you're going to have to learn to develop movement in your pitches. That's why a guy like Andy Pettitte was so good for so long.
Yes,
he learned how to pitch. He learned how to pitch towards the end of his career. Look at Verlander. I mean, Verlander, sure, he could pitch still very fast and consistent, but he also learned how to pitch. Scherzer learned how to pitch.
And take it from us, when we got Jimmy Moore on the back in his career, he had like an 80-something mile-an-hour fastball and still makes people look like complete idiots.
Exactly. You have to learn how to pitch.
Oh, the perfect example of this question. Where the R.A. Dickey model, bro? I mean,
R.A. Dickey, man, it's just
Tim Wakefield.
Wakefield was another guy that it's just.
But that's a great example because R.A. Dickey at the beginning of his career, he was a guy that tried to blow people away with his fastball. He ended up getting hurt, and his arm was just never the same. He couldn't beat people with that fastball anymore.
And then
so he was able to and then he developed the knuckleball. And he ended up being, you know what he did? He was so good for the Mets that one year. He was an all-star for the Mets, and we ended up trading him to Toronto to pick up Travis d'Arnaud and Noah Syndergaard in that trade. In the early 2000s.
And I'm not mistaken, too. He also won a Cy Young with the Blue Jays, if I'm not mistaken, too.
Yes, he did. He won 2 Cy Youngs in latter end
of his career. Oh, boy.
He learned how to pitch. He learned how to become a pitcher, and he was the master of the knuckleball. And that's why he was able to prolong his career until his late 30s and into his 40s. Moyer, too, same thing. That's what you need to do if you want to be a successful pitcher, because you can't blow everybody away. And this is going to be the thing with Cole. Can Garrett Cole actually learn how to consistently pitch instead of trying to blow people away? I know you're probably at your wit's end right now, as all Yankees fans are. Yankees fans are so sick. I mean, I've talked to Miz about this. Miz is not happy with Garrett Cole.
I know.
All the fans are not happy with Garrett Cole, but I mean, this guy has got to learn how to pitch because he's making $300+ million. He's got to become a better pitcher.
He was the only pitcher in baseball to allow 40 home runs in the regular season. He was the only guy to allow 40 home runs in the regular season. Yeah. When you allow 40 home runs, people know how to hit your fastball at that point.
Absolutely.
And not to mention, too, when you try to blow up by people, and we saw it in some of these pitchers, too, they develop – you're going to start seeing a lot of Tommy John's
arm injuries, yes,
especially
injuries are at a premium, absolutely. Shoulders, arms, capsules, whatever it is. Because players don't know how to pitch.
Push up the mound, calf.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't know why these pitchers instructors in the minor leagues do not teach some of these kids how to learn how to pitch instead of trying to go out there and blow people away. I don't understand where this philosophy came from. Maybe it's my team's fault because of the fact we had those 5 pitchers that like blew everybody away with 100-mile-per-hour stuff. But something happened where the philosophy of learning how to pitch
it's just been thrown out the window.
Greg Maddux, Tom Maddux, how do they so good? They were so good because they knew how to pitch. That's why they had Hall of Fame careers. They knew how to pitch. Smoltz, I know, blew people away. But Glavine and Maddux were great Major League Baseball pitchers because they knew how to pitch. Pedro lost his stuff towards the end of his career with the Red Sox and as well as the Mets, where he didn't know how to pitch and blow people away. You know what he did? He learned how to pitch, and that's why he was able to prolong his career and still be a good pitcher.
And he had a really good season with us too in his age 37 season, but unfortunately, we just couldn't get the job done with him.
And another lost art too is how to hit a baseball.
That's it. How to play small ball. They don't know how to play small ball.
They don't know how to play small ball anymore. It's all or nothing.
It's home run or bust.
The art of bunting, leading hitters to second base, steals and all that stuff. Small ball is all completely out because you know why? Baseball sees that their game is not – I mean, I'm going to use Nate as an example because he's the younger generation that the baseball is trying to get interest in because people like myself and the older generation will still watch baseball because we love it. But the problem is the younger generation right now is leaning more towards watching basketball, football, and some of these fast-paced sports where it's not slow and boring and all this stuff. You have to be a really hardcore baseball fan at a young age to get into it because of the fact that football and basketball are changing at such a high rate, and fans just sometimes don't have the patience to sit there through a 4-hour baseball game throughout the entire summer when it's beautiful out and people want to do something.
Yep.
That's the problem.
And this is the thing as well, and this is what baseball needs to change. Pitch clock. These pitches should not be taking 40 seconds to throw the baseball.
Well, I did talk about that in one of my streams that they're bringing a pitch clock for the pitchers.
Yeah, they
because
are.
like if you can't get the pitch off in time, that's an automatic ball. So they're trying to speed up as well.
That's what they should do. Honestly, I think that's what they should do.
I think they've been testing in the minor leagues too, and has really shown some successes too. And
you need to go like this. You can't. That's what I love about Nestor Cortez. He takes. You see what Cortez does? He gets straight on the mound. He wants to get these hitters. Let's go. Let's get past this. You would hate, and that's why I understand these pitchers pick off so many times,
and that's gonna be limited as well.
Yeah, which is good. Thank God, because at this point you got these pitchers just find the grip. If you don't like the you can ask for a new baseball. That's what the pitchers didn't understand. You can literally ask for a new baseball to these umpires.
It seems like they got rid of the shift too.
Yeah, the shift's going to be gone. I mean, they're getting bigger bases and
back to normal baseball. Thank God.
And I'm with Jeff on this one because I remember the days like when Juan Pierre was still relevant. I mean, guys that you were used or were typical small ball type of players. Shit, I remember when he was
Ricky Henderson. Ricky Henderson was.
See, I wouldn't go back that far.
I mean, Ricky Henderson was the guy you look at as a small ball player where he wasn't going to go out there and hit many home runs. He was just going to get on base, play great defense, and he was going to be able to be that table setter.
I think that's why he's the reason why no one's going to break his stolen base record because of that.
Not. Because nobody steals bases anymore.
No, I mean, it's just like this is why a lot of times I hate this new era of baseball at times just because of what has changed. Now the pace of play, yes, for me, I was one of those people that I was in favor of pace of play because let's be real. There was one time in like back when the good old the days of the old days of baseball. Like there was one time I actually fell asleep during a baseball game. It's just like which is so goddamn boring. It's
62 games. It's hard to watch every single game. At least with football, the one thing that makes football the king by far is because it's only 4 months in a season, 5 months. Also, the fact that you have an entire week to like get excited for one game, just one game during the season, and also at the same time, it's the longest off season. Every other sport has like maybe a 4 or 5 month off season. Football has all the way from the beginning to middle of February, all the way until August, if you want to say September. It's a long off season.
Mm-hmm.
So football has that craving for fans because it's not there all the time. It's only once a week. Basketball, you at least have some days off. So it's like you don't have it every single day. Baseball is slow at times. It's in the middle of the summer when people want to get out and do stuff. And it's also the fact that there's 162 baseball games. And that's the reason why some people, they're drifting away a little bit from baseball unless you're a hardcore fan. In the New York area, in the Philadelphia area, in the Boston area, the tri-state area, we're just homegrown hardcore baseball fans. It's embedded in our blood. But you look more towards like the Midwest, even the West Coast and stuff. It's more about football and basketball. And
because I mean, you got good weather all year round. Whereas like us, it's like it comes over so often. I mean, and I mean, this is why a lot of times I feel like baseball. I mean, we saw like even on we seen like football house, and like I said, I mean, football like
and also too to tie into the West Coast East Coast comparison. You've seen a lot of players, and they've said it countless times throughout the season in interviews. They say the East Coast is way better than the West Coast in terms of fanfare and how they root for their teams.
West Coast are fair weather fans. I think the East Coast.
West Coast, they don't even care.
We're the hardcore fans. We care about
the East Coast.
We have a passionate fan base. I mean, look, even though I don't pick fun of the Mets, but man, I like to. I mean, they bring it.
Arguably the most passionate fan base.
They bring it. Yeah, they bring it.
So
they bring it.
It's because look at the markets you look at, Rob and Tyler. You have the New York fan base, the Philadelphia fan base, and the Boston fan base. We are the most passionate fan bases, arguably, out in the entire United States. We care so much about our sports teams. We are hardcore fans with our fan base. We are dedicated. We're always there supporting our teams. Some of them are fair weather fans, I will say that. But most of our fans are so in balance with our teams that we will be there and we will root you on. We will get critical with you guys. We're one of the most hard. We are the hardest.
Yeah, the hardest criticizing
New York,
fan bases
Boston,
out
and
there.
Philly. We get on our teams and we
Mhm.
get on you guys hard if you do not get up to and meet our standards. Period. And
It-
that's
it
why
definitely,
you know,
you're
some
you're
people are
playing
afraid
the-
to play in our markets. They're afraid to play here because they don't want to take criticism because they know when they come to Philly, New York, Boston,
Or Boston,
any East Coast
they're
area,
going to hear it.
they will hear it from us. They will hear it from us
Mhm.
at stadiums or arenas.
Because
I
it's
love
like it really is. I mean, basically, it's like when you play some of these teams, like not like for the Phillies, who's been around since almost towards 19 or since 1883. Like, yeah, we've been. I mean, obviously, it's changed it since then, but we have guys. We have we had players come and gone. Like, some that actually have panned out. Most just could not pan out. I mean, we saw Darren Ruff when he left. He went to like Japan and Korea, kind of balled the living crap out. Same with Aaron Altair, completely fell off the mat with us, and balled out in Korea. So it's like, what the fuck was that? Like, we started kind of questions. Like it's a huge question mark. It was a huge head scratcher. Like, we're seeing guys that leave Philly and for some reason just ball out elsewhere. So it's like,
It's happened with us too. Multiple players have left the Mets and they become good players in other markets.
It's ridiculous.
It happens with everybody, Rob. It happens with everybody.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like it's a huge head scratcher. Like, it's like, I mean, it's like when Reyes left the Mets, go to I think Toronto was, I think it was the second team, had one good season, but has not really been the same since he left the New York Mets. I mean,
he was so beloved with that team. That's the biggest problem I have, is that we should have never let Reyes or Wright go, and that's because we had Wilpon as our owner, and he was so damn cheap that he had to pick between Reyes or Wright, and we decided to pick Wright. And you know what? Reyes, he didn't get the job done. He was ineffective in Toronto, and Wright, he's my favorite player of all time with the Mets. He just couldn't stay healthy. But if we had Stevie Cohen as our owner, Jose Reyes and David Wright would have both been Mets long term. Neither one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They were the heart and soul of our team.
And like, oh Jesus, I think the only one I'm trying to think other than Reyes, I can't think of the other Mets off the top of my head that actually kind of has not been the same. It's hard to really.
Well, Matt Harvey.
I forgot. Yeah, Matt Harvey, Syndergaard.
Matt
was just what the fuck. It was a huge.
Matt. The problem with Matt's is Matt's was great when he first started because he's a Long Island kid. He pretty much was a local kid coming from Long Island to pitch. He played really well at the beginning of his Mets career, but out of all the pitchers, he was by far the most ineffective. And the funniest part about it is Jacob deGrom was a former shortstop in the Mets minor league system. He was a shortstop at first. He ended up having Tommy John surgery, and I believe they had so many stock shortstops in the farm system at that time that they eventually converted deGrom into a pitcher, and he was actually the lowest regarded pitcher out of the Fab Five for the New York Mets. And it's kind of ironic that he was by far the best pitcher because, like I said, Mets was not good. Wheeler, he was injured more than he pitched with the Mets. He's been great with you guys. Syndergaard, he had a couple of years as flashes. Obviously, Harvey lit up the town, the Dark Knight stuff. Obviously, Syndergaard, the Thor stuff. deGrom, he's just been consistent throughout his whole Mets career. And now Mets fans are getting on him because he's gotten hurt. I understand it, but you know what? I would love to see deGrom stay here long term because he's been a great pitcher. It's just the bullpen has been so awful for the Mets, and that's why his record is not as good. But the guy has been the best pitcher in Major League
And not to mention this too, and that's another point too. Like he had with the many different offenses you guys been through, that has not been too kind with deGrom when he pitches well.
The bullpen and the offense has been horrible for deGrom. I feel so bad for him.
It's hard. It's like. I mean, and I'm thinking about this stuff. It's like if I'm deGrom, if I'm seeing this the bullpen and the offense cannot give me anything done, it's like I should ask my release that right there on the spot, because it's like
depends on how much he wants to be a Met. That's the thing. How much?
That's like you said. I mean, the fact that he's going to be turning 35,
But how much does he want to be a Met? That's the thing. Like, he has a legacy here with the Mets. He is an all-time great New York Mets pitcher. Does it matter to him to be a New York Met his entire career? Possibly, like, go in the record books with the Mets, have his jersey or his number retired with the New York Mets? Like, you have to think about that kind of stuff because whether people like it or not, Jacob deGrom is an all-time great New York Mets pitcher.
I can't disagree with that.
There's other pitchers that are up there. I mean, you could say Seaver obviously is number one. say Kuzman is up there. You say Doc Gooden is up there. Al Leiter, I think, is an all-time great Met. But at the same time, Jacob deGrom is one of the greatest Mets pitchers of all time. He's one of the best pitchers of recent memory. Of the past 5 or 10
especially in
years,
this generation,
DeGrom's one of the best
absolutely.
pitchers. Does he really think about that kind of stuff? Is he just so dissatisfied with what's going on? Does he look at that Max Scherzer contract and be like, you know what? If I'm not going to get that type of money or more because I think I'm a better pitcher than Scherzer, is he going to be willing to walk to another team? Or does his legacy with the New York Mets matter so much and he wants to be a homegrown Met that plays with one team his entire career? Does Jacob deGrom think of that? Is be like, you know what? I can really build my legacy even more with the Mets. I could win a championship with the only team I've ever known, and I can retire in New York Met and actually, go down as one of the greatest Mets pitchers of all time. He's got to think about all that stuff.
That's a very good point.
He's got a legacy with this franchise, whether fans like him or not. He does. I hope he stays. I really do, because I love Jacob.
And as me and Tyler's Phillies fans, I mean, I could not disagree with that. I can't disagree with that. I mean, the dude's built so much. Yes, he has dealt with some injuries, but the fact that there was seasons where when he gets out to a fast start, it's like he's like putting up video game numbers that is ridiculous to really. And then the fact that I say he's like, if he was when he's actually fully healthy, the dude is superhuman. The fact that I think he had like a sub-1 for most of the season.
He was incredible.
That was disgusting. He was
pitching 100 miles per hour plus after being out for months when he came back. He was so ridiculously good, and I think he was just pitching so inhuman, Jacob deGrom, that his body just could not hold up to what he was doing on the mound. The guy was pitching 100 plus miles per hour, blowing people away, and like you said, he had a sub-1 ERA. deGrom was unhittable for years, and I just think that his slim frame, because he doesn't have like a Noah Syndergaard or a Matt Harvey type frame, he's very lanky and skinny. He just couldn't put up with the type of miles per hour pitching that he was putting out there. That's why he had arm injuries, shoulder injuries,
back injuries. I mean,
injuries. His body just couldn't hold up with the type of power he was putting behind. And that's where he's got to dial it back a little bit so he doesn't get hurt.
And I think that's why I feel like this is where I think that's why I think how Wheeler found it. Like we're seeing with Wheeler now. Like, yeah, I mean, he could give you when he he's still between 96 to 99, but he's actually learned how to mix in other pitches, which I think. deGrom, where I would nitpick the fact he only has 2 pitches, a fastball and a slider, it's where I feel like that kind of sets him back a little bit because we're seeing, pitchers that have 3-4 pitches in their arsenal. Yeah. Whereas, we've seen with Wheeler, who can use 2 different type of fastballs, a 4-seam and the 2-seam, occasional changeup and a good curveball and a slider. And we saw he had multiple workhorse seasons with us. I mean, this is why
Wheeler always had it in him. Wheeler always had that stuff in him for his whole entire career. The problem with Zach Wheeler is he just always got hurt.
Yeah, it just was hurt more than he played.
But he learned, he honed himself into a good pitcher, and he realized I don't got to go out there and blow everybody away to be a good pitcher. He learned how to pitch. He did something that Noah Syndergaard and Matt Harvey were too stubborn to do, and that's learn how to pitch. I will give Harvey a little bit of a break. I'm not giving Syndergaard a break.
Syndergaard, you deserve it. The dude's going to
Harvey had that injury. He had that one injury where it just absolutely debilitated him. I think
it was a really bad shoulder injury. He just could not come back from.
It was like an artery injury or something that he.
I think he had thoracic surgery or something.
Yeah, thoracic surgery. That's it. He just could not come back.
It just has not been the same ever since, and it's a shame though, man.
I mean, he went through too. He had I don't know if you read about what happened with Harvey. He had
I heard when he disappeared. People were trying to call. Yeah, I read that. I think that was 2015, where I think he said when he went partying and something like that, and he got
caught up in the New York environment. He got caught up in the New York nightlife, and that's the problem. He was too much about the partying and stuff, and not about sometimes the work ethic. If he just had the God-given ability, but once that God-given ability was taken from him when he had the thoracic outlet surgery, he just couldn't recover. And it's just a shame, hearing all that stuff about Matt Harvey, because he was the toast of the town from 2014 to 2016. It was him and Odell Beckham Jr. Both those guys were the toast of the town in New York for that time period. It's just crazy how
absolutely.
Both their careers, in New York ended, although Odell might get another shot. who knows? Because the Giants are looking to maybe bring him back, but we'll have to wait and see with that. But
yeah, we'll see with
sad
that. And
RB.
absolutely, but yeah, so that's gonna do it. I mean, like I said, free agency, like I said, it's not gonna open up till 5 o'clock on Thursday, which I will be live for that again. Maybe not, depending on how my schedule is, but we'll see. But Jeff, man, I said appreciate it coming on and just kind of hanging out for a little.
Thank you for having me. Having me on, Rob, Tyler. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And if you guys want,
absolutely, and
you can check me out tonight. I'm going to be doing the Monday Night Raw show with Earl.
And also too, and college basketball fans, tonight, man, college hoops is returning. Villanova fans, I'm excited, and it's going to be a weird look. Now we got Kyle Neptune kind of taking over, hosting LaSalle tonight at 6:30.
Also at 6 p.m., I have my NFL Pigskin recap show. How did your team do? Come check it out. My guest this week will be Further AM, so you guys check that out.
Further on.
Yeah, it's gonna be really good with Further. So check it out. And hope you enjoy.
Well, with that being said,
live on the Hardcore Sports.
Hardcore
Sports Network.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
I hope you guys have a great rest of your afternoon, evening. Take it easy, fellas.
You too.
You too, brother.